Welcome guys to part 2 of Smooth Operator, a series about Carlos Sainz at Williams in the 2025 season, and where we try to take Sainz to the top of the standings and win him the Drivers' World Championship, and most importantly beat Ferrari and show them what they're missing out on basically. Today we have the Chinese Grand Prix, and it's only a couple days away, so only a couple days after Australia. So we will see what we can do in terms of development. I'm not sure if we can get a new part done for Sainz this race, but we will see. Let's take a look at it. So a little bit of a summary here from the previous race. Andrea De Zordo, the technical chief that we hired in the first episode, actually comes back to us, and most important part here, we expected to finish 9th, and our finish position was 6th, so we overachieved by quite a big margin. Would it have been dry throughout the race? I think we would have actually been able to get inside that top 5, maybe even a podium with the right strategy, but the rain threw us off a bit, and it was a bit of a guessing game when to switch over to the inters and the wets. But all in all, a really good race. Obviously, we don't look at Albon for anything, but yeah, it was good for Sainz. Yeah, so taking a look at the calendar here, we do have a rear wing 3 coming in, and let's take a look at it. So here we go, rear wing 3, and let's see, there's 2 days remaining. I'm not sure. It's going to give us quite a bit of performance. You know, we're going to jump up 3 spots. Not too great. You know, realistically, we're only passing 1 or 2 cars when it comes to the high speed for that part. But everything helps, you know. So we will take a look. Obviously, our DRS effectiveness, though, that's moving up 10 spots. And China has 2 long DRS straights, especially the back straight. So that's really going to help us. Now looking at the other parts, we have a front wing still in development, front wing 3. Then we have side pods and suspension that are still ongoing. They will be done by, let's see here, if we go to March. So we'll have the Chinese Grand Prix, then we'll go to the Japanese Grand Prix. And those 2 designs will complete during the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm not sure if they'll give us a big performance increase, because what we're trying to do is basically increase the expertise we get from these parts. So that's why we kept them in a long development cycle, and so that the next part, both SS3 and SP3, side pod 3, suspension 3, will get a better result when we further develop them afterwards. So the goal is to get a 3rd design of these 2, which will be much better than this 2nd design. But we're gonna focus on the race here. I don't know if there's anything else we just should discuss. I don't think so. Looking at the mentality, we're not doing too great. So obviously we're gonna take a little bit of a hit with the mentality being negative for both of our drivers, but we're gonna try and get a good performance in here. So here we go, our rear wing is complete. Now what we're gonna look at is, can we manufacture one for the start of this race? It's in 2 days. It takes 3 days to manufacture one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rush one. Yeah, we can actually get away with rushing one, can't we? Yeah, of course. So we're gonna rush one, and then after that we're gonna produce the rest of those rear wings. So that rear wing is complete. And then do we already want to start a new rear wing design project? Looking at it here, we're in the development for a new chassis, and actually we've gained so much expertise. Do keep in mind we're on the hardest setting, so the AI gets bonuses. I think it is. I don't think we get a debuff, but I think the AI gets a bonus on their performance or their development. Well, we're gonna invest all of our wind tunnel time into a new chassis, because in the end, the chassis, the most basic or most important component about the car. And I'm gonna play around with the sliders a little bit, and then we'll come back and see what we can do. Okay guys, so this is what we've come up with. This is going to be the focus for our chassis. We're going to keep it drag reduction in the middle, DRS delta all the way to the right, because we really want to take that. These days, there's so many long straights in F1. Back in the day as well, I guess, but a lot of circuits are actually, you know, getting longer and getting longer straights, and a lot of high-speed sections, so I really want that DRS delta to come up higher. And then the airflow, that's literally just to increase downforce in most areas, you know. As you can see here, we're going to get a big gain. For now, if we would get the part right now, you could see we would gain 7 positions in the high speed, 3 in the medium speed. Our DRS effectiveness goes up by 10 positions, acceleration by 2, and top speed by 6. So that would create a really nice kind of chassis to work on for our other parts. So we're gonna confirm that. Now I'm thinking, should I do intense or just have the one engineer on it and increase our expertise? We can afford the 3 million, I think, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so that's what it's looking right now for our development, guys, before we head into the race. So we have that new chassis on the way. That's actually gonna improve us by a lot. The front wing, that's gonna be done in 9 days, then side pods and suspension in 15 days. So, all right, guys, so before heading into this race at China, we're gonna take a look here. We've gotten the new front wing on for Carlos, who's obviously in a number 2 car. Unfortunately, Albon, like we said, we don't prioritize him. We've not had the time to manufacture enough parts yet, so Carlos still gets the go-ahead. Basically, he gets priority. But like we can see now, top speed 13th, DRS effectiveness 3rd, which has really helped here on the back straight of China. The low speed, there is quite a couple of low speed corners when it comes to China, definitely in that first sector. And then we have those big hairpins, of course, down the back straight. Medium speed 9th, 10th in the high speed, so we're about average there. Dirty air, less important, because obviously we have DRS to overtake. And then tire preservation, we're about halfway there. Engine cooling, again, doesn't matter too much. If you need a new engine, we're going to give Carlos priority, and Albon just will have to run on old engines for the entire season. So let's go to the race targets. Albon, car performance, it still says he's 13th, but I don't believe it. We're just going to go, he's gotten the new floor, but let's do 15th just to make sure we get some money in. And then Carlos, we're going to go all the way 8th. I believe in him. Okay, as you can see, guys, it is a sprint weekend here in China, so it's all gonna depend on if we can get the setup right in this first practice session. We're gonna head into that right now, and I'll see you in sprint qualifying. Also, taking a short look at the weather, doesn't seem to be any rain on the schedule as there was in Australia, so a nice sunny day for all the sessions, sprint qualifying, the sprint itself, then the qualifying after, and the race. So we should have a nice clean run, and we should really be able to see what Sainz can do in the right conditions for the car. All right, so Sainz coming up to start his first flying lap here in sprint quali 1. He's quite close to the Ferrari in front, so maybe we can pick up a little bit of a tow, but let's see how this new rear wing works for us. The Chinese Grand Prix or Chinese qualifying. Going into turn 1, are we going to get blocked? Yes, of course we do. So that is already a lap in the bin. We're going to call Carlos in. Oh, and then we get blocked by another car. All right, again, so Behrman has run wide, but we're focusing on Carlos now, so not too far behind one of the Alpines going onto his flying lap. Let's hope he doesn't get blocked. I think everyone's on a flying lap, so shouldn't get blocked this time. And then in the long swinging right-hand corner of China, quite an interesting corner. Carlos isn't quite adjusted to these new parts yet. I think we only have an understanding of the parts for about 60%, so it'll take at least another full Grand Prix weekend for him to fully start utilizing those parts properly. And then into the last corner, that fast left-hander where you really have to nail the exit. And he does so still obviously faster than that Alpine in front. And there we go, P6. Oh, not far off at all. Good one, Carlos. Maybe a little bit of toe that has given us like 1 or 2 tenths, but we should still be in a really good fight. Only 2 tenths off of Norris. All right, heading into the second session now. We're gonna again send Sainz out. Once a little bit of this traffic goes, everyone seems to be going out now. So we're just waiting for a little bit of an opening here. There we go. We can send him out behind a Aston Martin. There we go now. So Sainz preparing his lap here in
and clear on pit exit.
Sainz preparing his lap here for sprint quality 2. Again, we'll try to do 2 runs. The track is quite long, so it takes a big chunk of time to get back to the pits, but we'll try to get 2 runs in. Going into turn 1 again. Carlos has a nice clean track in front of him. Maybe he'll be able to catch up to some of the cars in front before the lap ends, but we'll see. Albon, of course, also still in. I don't expect him to make it out of SQ2, but Carlos should definitely be able to. All lining up pretty well. Sainz here through the last corner. Let's see, where can he put this car? For now, ooh, only P9, so we are kind of looking for an improvement over that lap, I think, because Lawson still has a good chance of overtaking us. Maybe Doohan with a good lap.
Ridiculous.
Okay,
all right, Sainz now out for his second run in SQ2.
Track is clear.
And we have Albon tagging along behind him, trying to pick up some slipstream. So we are going to help Albon out this race, just because the track allows us to. So again, what we're looking for is improvements here from Carlos. So this is looking like a very decent lap, and then is Albon doing any better? He is, but not that much. Lost about 3 tenths to his teammate, but maybe on a long straight he can get some back through the slipstream. A green second sector, that's what we like to see. So don't think Albon will make it through, but up to the last corner we head now. And we'll have one short little burst of DRS as well towards the end of the line here. Open that flap up, and where does he put it? P5, very nicely done, very nicely done. Albon 14, we didn't expect much. I actually double checked and we still don't have any parts for Albon, any extra parts, so he's actually not running an upgraded floor right now. But again, Sainz is the focus here, and yeah, P5, P6, definitely possible, I think. Okay, SQ3 now with Carlos Sainz, and it should be a good indicator for the rest of the weekend. And obviously, after this session, we can still improve the setup. So I think setup confidence is around 85% right now. So if we can get another 10% or so added to that after the sprint race, then we're looking really good for the main race. Okay, so again, Carlos heading on to his first lap. Coming through that very fast last corner. The crowd on the left. So far, not too bad. I mean, you can just put up a reliable lap every time. That's good. And we already know that we have pretty decent race pace. Judging off of the dry running we had in Australia for part of the race. Okay, so DRS open. All right, the Ferrari doesn't get in the way. That's good. But Lewis Hamilton is gonna pick up a nifty toe, or what do I have to say? Quite a nice toe onto the main straight here. So Carlos moves out of the way now for Hamilton, and it's a 31.9, which actually seems pretty good. All right, we've sent Carlos out for another lap here. It's just about gonna get to the line.
And you go push.
And we'll see if we can still improve with Carlos. But already, you know, P5 not looking too bad. Definitely struggling to see where Piastri is getting all this pace from. Again, heading into the hairpin. Big braking zone. Low speed is where we're quite good. Not the greatest though. Now heading into the last corner, Carlos Sainz. Can he improve? I don't think so, but maybe... Nope, no improvement. So P7 is going to be our starting position. And man, look at the discrepancy here between the McLarens and the rest of the field. That is quite extreme here at China. All right, so we got through sprint qualifying, and wow, the McLarens really, really fast. We have Lando Norris is going to start on pole for the sprint race, and Oscar Piastri not too far behind. But look at the discrepancy. They were, well, about half a second clear of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, who, funnily enough, Leclerc and Verstappen doing the exact same time in sprint quali 3, but Leclerc doing it a bit earlier in the session, so he gets to line up in third, and then Max Verstappen in fourth, Antonelli in fifth. Sixth is Fernando Alonso, just ahead of us. Carlos Sainz in seventh. George Russell eighth. Jack Doohan ninth. Lewis Hamilton 10th. 11th, Liam Lawson 12th. Esteban Ocon, really nice performance in the Haas. Lance Stroll 13th. Alexander Albon 14th, Bortoleto 15th, Yuki Tsunoda 16th, Pierre Gasly 17th, Isaac Hadjar 18th, Behrman 19th, and Nico Hulkenberg starting all the way in last place.
Well, it's a different format this weekend, with a sprint set to spice up today's events. Of course, this is the first sprint of the season, adding an extra challenge for the drivers and their teams. But as ever, in Formula One, an extra challenge is an extra opportunity.
The prospect of bagging a few extra points is certainly going to spur these teams on to fight competitively and finish in the top spots.
Well, it's not too long now until the sprint around Shanghai, where we'll see who comes out on top. Here we go.
All right, here we are for the sprint race in China, and lights are out. Carlos Sainz with a not too great of a start, I don't think. Maybe he is. He's getting alongside Alonso, I think. Not quite, though, and George Russell is looking up the inside here. We're doing fine so far. Albon up into 13th. A bit of a collision there, I think, with Doohan and someone else. But Sainz holding station in 7th place. The Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton going up the inside of George Russell. Albon losing a position. Let's take a look at that. Lance Stroll coming through on the outside, actually, in the middle sector. Is that going to turn to the inside? Yes, he does come through. To wonder, is he also maybe on those softer compounded tires? Yes. Okay, calm down, Lance. Calm down, buddy. You're only up in the 13th. Jesus. And now we're actually dropping back a little bit. We have the McLarens already separating themselves. They look really fast this weekend. But here comes Lewis Hamilton. He's gonna try it up the inside. Should I let him take this? I probably should.
To recharge the pack.
As he is on the soft tires, we will be able to get back at him as the race goes on, and let's have Hamilton pull us back up to that train in front of us. Verstappen is trying his best to get back up to the McLarens, but like in real life, we can see it can be troublesome. Obviously, I'm recording this before the Chinese Grand Prix in real life, so I'm interested to see how that one goes, how the true pace stacks up, as it should be a more conventional race than Australia. And meanwhile, we do have Sainz is we're able to create a little bit of space compared to George Russell behind. So Russell kind of is stuck in the middle of nowhere between two cars, so he doesn't have anyone to work with for DRS, but also can't really catch up to us. So that's really beneficial for Carlos. And then Albon here. Let's see how he is doing. Does he still have DRS on Lance Stroll? Don't believe so, but maybe in the slipstream. Okay, no, he is. He does. That's good. Lewis Hamilton trying something there. Antonelli still leading, but you know, the big thing here, Alonso now getting past Antonelli actually. And Alonso really putting in a good performance here, trying to get that top 5. Obviously, not as many points on offer, but all this fighting does make it a lot easier for us to save some battery.
Copy.
Which is going to benefit us towards the latter stage of the race. And we can make some moves. But maybe actually Leclerc is looking really good, because Leclerc has the medium tires, so he might actually be on to win the sprint race. Because he is only 3 seconds behind, and yeah, in those last 5 laps or so, he's going to have a big tire advantage. Albon now, P13 still on the back of Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan does have some sort of issue. I think he's has some damage since the start of the race. And Ocon, what is he doing? Nothing so far. Sainz is now past Hamilton, so we actually have to push a little bit here. Because we need to be able to catch up to the back of Alonso and Antonelli.
Now we can see what happened. Now,
Isaac
this is where
Hadjar
the
here,
RB drivers
going
involved.
through the fast left-hander in the middle sector. Oh, and just completely
there's
goes off
contact
into
with
the barrier.
Well, they may have been keen
Well,
to
that's
leave their
race
mark,
over for
but I
Hadjar,
think
and
that
that's
was a little too literal.
I think a second
Don't
bad
you?
race in a row now. I think his first race also
And for the
wasn't that
crew
great.
watching on in the
So
garage,
yeah,
that really must have been a hard one to take.
not a good season start for the Racing Bulls. Okay, virtual safety car is ending now, so we're gonna take Carlos off of all the
I can focus on bringing
modes that might hamper him. There we go. Do the same with Albon, as Sainz is now onto the back of Alonso and Antonelli just ahead. The one thing obviously is that it was really good for those front runners, Norris, Piastri, and Verstappen on the soft tires. They've been able to save their tires quite a bit now. So we're pushing now with George Russell right onto the back of us. Maybe we need to consider just letting him through. Well, we don't even need to consider, he just does it on his own. Alright, coming onto the back straight once more. 6 laps to go after this one. And trying to use that superior DRS from us to try and get back past George Russell. Nothing so far. Let's try a cheeky move here, maybe.
Available if required.
See if we can get onto the inside of him, perhaps. Nothing much. Let's see on the main straight. Did get a nice run out of there. Can we move to the inside, perhaps?
Nice work.
No, not quite. We have a bit of deployment here. Can we move to the inside? Yes, we can. Good use of ERS by Carlos. Oh, and squeezes out George Russell. Beautifully done. So that's Russell out of the picture. And now onto the main straight. More ERS usage. We're going to get DRS here as well. Should see us past Antonelli. There we go. And now right onto the back of Alonso. should be able to get past Alonso very cleanly. So very nicely done. 3 moves in 1 lap by Carlos Sainz. Him just showing what he can do. And Lewis Hamilton has now managed to pull away. It's right on to the back of Lewis Hamilton once again. So the P5 here is up for grabs. Just have to time it right. As I'm sure Hamilton is slowly losing, running out of tire life here. So let's make sure we have some extra battery now. Can we get past Lewis? Oh, we can, and it's quite easy. So here's where we push. Here's where we push.
0.5.
Because I think Lewis is starting to lose pace now on those soft tires. All right, so we're on the penultimate lap here, and it's a big fight here between Piastri and Norris, who are at the front. Max Verstappen in 3rd with Leclerc behind him. They were also fighting for that podium position. But Norris here trying around the outside. And who will lead at the end of this race? So Piastri still in front, keeping Lando Norris at bay for now. But on this straightaway, can Lando Norris overtake? Let's see, he moves to the inside. Piastri going slightly defensive, but not too much. Papaya rules, I guess. But let's see here, Lando Norris creates enough distance, I think, to not give Piastri DRS. He will have slipstream, but that won't be enough, I don't think. And is Lando Norris gonna bag the first win for himself now? As Piastri got that first victory at Australia. They're gonna trade blows, it seems like, and Norris is gonna take victory here at the sprint race. Let's, dial it down a bit, but he is going to take victory at the sprint race here in China. And here comes Lando Norris across the line. Meanwhile, Leclerc has gotten past Verstappen. So Leclerc on the podium, and meanwhile, Carlos Sainz with a great performance. Upgraded rear wing is doing wonders here at China. And as Russell charges towards the end, he won't get close enough. And Carlos Sainz comes home in a 5th position in the sprint race at China. Very nicely done, Carlos. Meanwhile now, Alexander Albon coming back home in 11th. Also, if we get his setup a bit more right, we could maybe get him up a little bit higher inside the points in the main race.
And that's a points finish in the sprint for Carlos Sainz.
They've displayed some moments of quality here. All they need now is some fine-tuning to achieve great things.
All right, bit of a summary here after the sprint results here in China. Lando Norris taking the victory. Oscar Piastri in 2nd. So we'll see how that goes for the main race. Oscar obviously winning the Australian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc in 3rd, Max Verstappen in 4th, and then the main man, Carlos Sainz, in 5th, scoring a nice 4 points here. Very nicely done. George Russell in 6th, overtaking Lewis Hamilton right at the end. In 7th, Fernando Alonso comes home in 8th, taking that last point, dropping Kimi Antonelli just outside of the points-paying positions. Liam Lawson in 10th, Alex Albon in 11th, Lance Stroll 12th, Ocon 13th, very nicely done in a Haas, I think. Alpine, Pierre Gasly and Jack Doohan finishing 14th and 15th. Nico Hulkenberg 16th, Tsunoda 17th, and Oliver Behrman 18th. Then Bortoleto in 19th, and Isaac Hadjar, of course, with that early crash out of the race.
Welcome everyone to qualifying. This should be a good one.
The Shanghai International Circuit is notoriously tough on tires, so expect to see that factor into the team's strategies as they deal with this busy schedule.
Now, Karun, you and I were actually just talking about that man there, Max Verstappen. How do you think he'll be feeling today?
They had an excellent performance in practice, setting a solid lap time. They must be feeling confident. But confidence doesn't necessarily mean success in Formula One.
There's not much left to say, so let's get into it.
All right, Carlos Sainz now out for his first lap in the main qualifying sessions. Qualifying 1 now.
Go push.
And we sent them out on an old set of softs because we do want to make sure we try and maximize the tire usage here and just get a banker lap in first. 32.8, which I'm pretty sure is quite slow. I think it is quite slow. So the use set definitely not helping him. Yeah, Albon goes faster, so not a good first run for Sainz, but he was on quite worn tires. So out for our second run in the first qualifying session.
Clear ahead.
Hopefully Sainz can improve. He's not too far behind, I think it's Yuki Tsunoda. So hopefully Tsunoda doesn't get in the way and we can actually use a little bit of tow. You can see here we're already closing up in the slipstream. Now with the DRS, we have super effective DRS. So as you can see, we're closing up into the last corner. We are, of course, going to get a little bit of dirty air now. But this is going to be a really good lap. It's not quite going to be pole, but it shouldn't be too far off with the tow we've gotten. Oh, look at that. 1/10 away from Norris in qualifying 1. Again, that's probably not going to happen in any of the other sessions. We just kind of timed our exit of the pits really well. But Alexander Albon actually getting up into P11 as well. So yeah, we're not looking bad for the race. Points are up for grabs for Albon as well. Start of qualifying session 2.
Okay, gap edge is good.
And we're sending both of our drivers once again for their first run. They're both going to be on used tires. We always put out Albon behind Sainz just so maybe he can get a little bit of a tow. Oh, wow. Okay, Sainz running wide. Interesting. We'll keep him out anyway. He's on the used tires, so maybe he can put the lap right a little bit by getting some tow of Albon or whatever. We'll see. Albon in 25.7 for Sainz, so yeah, not ideal. Do we have a spare underfloor? That's what I wonder. Because if not, we're in big trouble. So Albon putting up a 33.0, which is not very fast. And then, yeah, Sainz with the damage, there is no chance. As the times come in, yeah, we're so far off. That is rough for Sainz. That might be, oh, it's going to be a rough start, isn't it? Ooh, okay, so we can't replace it. We'll send him out on a fresh set of tires, see how he does. Maybe we put him behind Albon to get a tow. Ooh, I don't know what to do now. All right, so end of qualifying 2. We have Sainz with a damaged underfloor. We've put him behind Albon to see maybe he can pick up a slight tow. But with the damage on the underfloor, it's such a crucial component. It's going to be very tough for Sainz here to do a thing. They're both on fresh sets of tires, but it might be a bad start to the race here for Sainz, starting in out of position. Further back than we would like. I don't think we have it in the car. We're going to have to change that floor out. But that's going to be Carlos Sainz out for qualifying here for the main race, I think. Oh, as he comes to the last corner, we're going to go across the finish line, but I don't think it's going to be an improvement for Sainz. Oh, P11. But Lawson still has to come through. So it's likely going to be P12, which is not bad. Albon, though, through to Q3, so that's respectable. Right, so a bit of a different view here, but I guess we'll have to follow Alex Albon throughout this lap because he is the one that made it into Q3. So we're gonna follow him around his lap and see if he can improve. So let's see here. Can he put up anything else than a P10 in this session? Comes across the line. What is it gonna be? It is gonna be P10. Wow. He really didn't manage to put a good lap together here in the last qualifying session. So quite far off there for Alexander Albon. So a bit of a summary here. Q3, Lando Norris grabs pole again. With Oscar Piastri behind, but Lando Norris actually 4/10 clear of his teammate. George Russell in third, so really well done by him after having a bit of a disappointing sprint race. Max Verstappen fourth, Lewis Hamilton fifth. Kimi Antonelli sixth, so the rookie doing quite well. Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Tsunoda actually getting into Q3, very nicely done, and Alexander Albon.
The 56 laps of the Shanghai International Circuit await our drivers here in China.
Shanghai has seen its fair share of clashes over the years, one of which happened even before the 2005 race had begun, when Michael Schumacher collided with Christian Albers on the way to the grid, sending Albers into the air.
Shanghai International Circuit is a complicated low-speed track that demands high downforce. The series of rapid turns from 1 to 4 demands high grip, but the more the drivers warm their tyres, the more degradation they'll have to deal with. Well, there's nothing quite like it. Welcome along to race day.
All right, quick little summary here after the qualifying session. The starting grid is going to be Lando Norris beating his teammate by about 4/10. Then George Russell in third, Max Verstappen starting fourth, Lewis Hamilton in fifth, Kimi Antonelli in sixth, Fernando Alonso seventh, Charles Leclerc eighth, Yuki Tsunoda actually with a really good qualifying session in ninth. Alex Albon couldn't get it together in Q3, almost 3 seconds off pretty much. Carlos Sainz starting right behind him, so we're probably gonna try and let Sainz through. He obviously has a new floor now, so we threw away one floor and then put on another floor here for Carlos Sainz. It's the only one he has remaining, so let's hope he doesn't break that one. Liam Lawson in 12th, so a bit disappointing for him. Lance Stroll also disappointing in 13th. Bortoleto with actually quite a good qualifying, I think, in the Kick Sauber. Jack Doohan in 15th. 16th is Hulkenberg, then comes Ocon, Isaac Hadjar, Pierre Gasly with actually a pretty bad qualifying as well, we can say, and Oliver Bearman in 20th. So let's see how the race goes.
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race. The Haas driver with a chance to impress a few people here.
P20 is definitely not where any driver would want to find themselves. But they've got to get their head down and work hard.
Right, let's get to it then. The excitement is
All right,
building
here we
in
go
Shanghai.
on 2 to 5 lives here at the Chinese Grand Prix, the main race.
And it's lights
And
out,
we're off.
And away we go.
Alternating strategies for Sainz and Albon. Sainz on the softs, Albon on the mediums. But we're gonna try and get Sainz through. So Albon, we need you to hold station here.
A bit more.
Let Sainz through. Try and do this as nicely as we can. There we go.
Close gap.
That's a good swap of positions.
Easy overtake. Copy.
Albon losing out a little bit there, but we don't mind that. Sainz is our priority.
Anything can happen.
And obviously Stroll getting past Albon, but here comes Carlos Sainz now on the soft tire. And actually a lot of the grid on that soft tire, so that is very good. We're going to just move to the harder compounds throughout the race. 2-stop race. We're going to move to the mediums after the softs and then to the hards. And with Albon, we're moving to the softs and then the hards. Is he gonna send it up the... Whoa! Sonoda with a big send. I thought he was going into the car there, but
More if we can.
he's
Yeah, go for it.
not doing too bad. And then we'll again just turn down the engine here. The big thing is here that we don't want to start losing out to these cars in front. Don't let them get away, so Sonoda needs to get a little bit of a move on. Else we're gonna have to force the issue with Sainz. There we go, a good deploy there on the back straight, and then DRS open. Hopefully we can get past Sonoda. He's going defensive. So Carlos Sainz. There we go, up the inside. See if he can hold on. Yes, he sure can. And it's just trying to get up. Oh no, an Albon with a lockup, I think. That's why we don't prioritize him.
Albon is part of this. Things were all right
Coming
here.
into the last corner, big braking zone, lap 2. Oh, and he just goes straight on. He is able to recover the car quite well, but does get passed by Bortoleto. That's gonna damage his tires quite a bit, so yeah, a little bit of overtake still available. We're gonna use a little here, hope we can get into the slipstream of Alonso. And then try to catch back up to that little train in front. Almost going all the way back up to first place. So here we go. Onto the back straight now with Carlos Sainz. We're not going to be in DRS, but we might be able to get enough of a slipstream to catch back up. Then let's hope they fight a little bit in front so we can make use of that as well. But we're onto the back of Alonso, so nicely done, Sainz. Back in the slipstream, and now we are ready to contest here together with all these other cars. And, Alonso might be just inside DRS, maybe just outside of it. We'll see. We'll already get a good slipstream here. Let's see, does Alonso get DRS as well? Yes, he does. But we might have the edge here with... We have a really good DRS system.
But like little often will help.
And then with the fuel mode there, got a bit of an edge, but it's not going to help. I thought we might get a little bit of slipstream there to help us out. Oh, around the outside though, Carlos Sainz was doing well to hold on. There we go. No deployment left, so again, we're going to go into harvesting mode. So Sainz has managed to overtake Antonelli here. Down the main straight with our DRS. Antonelli not getting any DRS on to Lewis Hamilton. And we're up into P7. So once again, we're heading towards a nice position here. Now in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton. Again, trying to save this battery. And for now, we can just kind of stick behind Lewis, I think, on the same tire compound. So we'll see here. But I think Lewis still probably has a little bit more pace. We'll see. So in the meanwhile, Carlos Sainz, we're only on lap 7 and we're on the back of Lewis Hamilton here. And we might be able to make a move here down the straightaway. Carlos Sainz with the DRS open is going to move to the inside. Lewis Hamilton doesn't seem to be fighting it too much. And we're going to save the battery a little bit. Let's see if we might be able to use our deploy and get up close to the cars in front, being Leclerc and Russell. That would be ideal.
Behind.
If not, we'll try and make sure that Hamilton can slingshot off of us and bring us inside the range of those two. Okay, so the plan might be working out here. So Lewis right onto the back of us. He's going to get DRS here, and that might slingshot him up to the cars in front. So we're not going to put up any sort of fight with Lewis. We're just going to get him past us. And then maybe we can slingshot. Well, whoa.
Don't worry about it.
And maybe we can slingshot him again. But we'll see here. Hamilton now in the slipstream. So yeah, we are catching up. We're creating distance from Antonelli, which is super important.
We're happy to push.
Yeah, we're right back onto Russell and Leclerc now. So that is great news for us. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen in the lead on the soft tire. He's almost a second ahead of Piastri. And then Lando Norris in third, quite a ways behind. Is he on medium tires? Yes, he is. So we'll have to see throughout the race how the strategy plays out. But for now, Verstappen leading this race. But yeah, we're not quite able to keep up with Hamilton and Russell. Even though we get a good run out of here, they're still fighting. With a bit of slipstream. Trying to get some DRS here, but to no avail. Alright, lap 16. We're in a bit of a tussle here with... Kimi Antonelli, sorry. And Sainz is going to box this lap, so I've put him on the push. And see if we can get a good stop in. Stroll and Hulkenberg just pit, and I think... Hamilton and who was it? Hamilton and Alonso might have pit. No, Alonso still has to pit, but he's run out of tires completely. So it's only Hamilton that has pit. That's a direct competitor. He's going to the softs. Not sure if we should do the same. We could go to... We could make the softs work, but let's just go for the mediums. We're gonna stick to our plan. I don't think we have the tire wear to go soft, medium. And we didn't have a fresh set of, we didn't have a second set of fresh mediums, because else I would have gone soft, medium. There we go, into the pits. So some of our competitors still not coming into the pits. They definitely have better tire wear than us. But maybe on our outlap we can gain a little bit of time back, hopefully. And Albon is still on his tire saving mode. We're trying to help him as much as we can, but that lockup really screwed him over a little bit. Not the fastest stop, but it'll do. Sainz now comes out in P11. Not bad, not bad. But we should be able to complete quite a nice undercut here, I think. So onto the main straight here. Sainz now into the DRS of Ocon. Let's hope we can just make a simple pass here without too many issues, as Ocon is on older tires. So there we go. Yeah, doesn't even put up a fight, Ocon. He's smart enough of a driver to know when not to fight. Okay, now Russell. We're at the end of this 19th lap here. Russell coming in now for his pit stop. I'm curious to see how close we come out, and then I think we should definitely have the undercut on Antonelli. So that should work out in our favor. But Russell, he might come out ahead of us here. Let's see. Still in the pit lane. He might just about beat him. Or can we maybe stay in his DRS as he comes out? Oh, here we come. Yeah, right onto the back of Russell, so he will have the tire advantage, but let's hope we can just kind of stick around and use him as a little bit of a tow. And yep, Sainz just onto the back of George Russell. And let's see, I think Kimi Antonelli is gonna come in this lap, probably. Or maybe no, they're gonna stay out for longer. Lawson and Antonelli will probably stay out a couple laps more, which is going to work in our favor to pass them. And if I can just stay onto the back of George Russell with Sainz, then we're in a good spot to finish quite high up in this race. Yeah, Sainz right onto the back of Russell. We're using Russell as a bit of a tow here. Just tagging along. We know Russell is faster, but as long as we can just stick onto the back of him, use his DRS, we can end up a lot faster through this race than we otherwise would, not having that DRS and the tow from him. Antonelli is about 3 or 4 seconds slower at this point, so if he doesn't come in this lap, we've definitely overtaken him. We can already see Norris now in the pits. The race lead will be taken again by Piastri, I think. Piastri looking very strong this season. So curiously, Antonelli still not into the pits. So he's gonna lose out massively here. I don't think this is the right strategy for Kimi Antonelli. All right, we're in the just past the midway stage of the race here. We've kind of just been tagging along with George Russell, getting his DRS on the straights. He's tried a couple of times to get away now, as he is doing that again here, but just gonna make sure to keep Sainz within touching distance by using the deep deployment whenever we can. On the straightaway, I think we're a bit faster than the Mercedes. Everywhere else, they're better, but on the straightaway, I can kind of keep up. So as long as I stay in the DRS, we are good. But yeah, you can still see George Russell really pushing here, trying to get me outside of the DRS zone. Most importantly, trying to get Carlos Sainz out of the DRS zone. Most importantly, we don't want to have George Russell get rid of us. But the thing is, you can see here the difference in tire wear. That's the thing that's really getting to us. I mean, we're not that far ahead with our tire wear compared to Lewis Hamilton on the soft. So that's where the big difference is coming in. And, well, George Russell seemingly pulling away now after we've held on for a good amount of laps, but it does mean that we've created a lot of distance between us and Antonelli. So if anything, it helps us secure the 7th place. All right, and there's been a crash now between Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, I think it was. So going into the corner there before the back straight, both of them get in a bit of a collision. They're now still in a fight, but it does mean that Norris has picked up some front wing damage. So again, Piastri is gonna be able to capitalize massively in this race and extend his championship lead, I think. So there is an investigation. Let's see now, what is the outcome? No penalties given, so Leclerc will probably be able to get past here going into turn 1, and then might be able to drop Norris. Norris still on a softer compound, so that might be able to give him some advantage on trying to keep up with Leclerc. But yeah, not ideal for Lando Norris. If he loses touch with Leclerc, that might be him dropping back into the clutches of the likes of Hamilton and Russell. Interesting thing will be to see if he takes a new front wing whenever he pits the last time. But yeah, we will see how that plays out throughout the rest of this race. All right, so lap 34, we're gonna push here a little bit, Sainz. It's an optimal stop lap, or optimal pit stop lap. We are gonna maybe try and eke out an extra lap here, or just push until we get back into the range of Russell and then pit. Try and minimize any advantage he gets on us in the before the pit stop here. All right, so end of lap 36 here, or lap 35. Sainz is on lap 35. We're gonna come into the box here. We've been pushing on the medium tires. We've had plenty of life left to do that, and we've gotten to about the 2-second mark, 2.5 seconds from Russell, so gained at least half a second in those last 2 laps, and now we're gonna move on to the hards and hope for a little bit of an advantage so we can come out ahead of Russell. Before that, and there's a collision, I think.
Yellowhead. Yeah,
So what happened there? I'm interested
There's
to
a
see.
yellow flag now.
Alonso spins in the last corner, so gets on throttle. Is he going to spin here? Yes, he does. Also holds up, is that Liam Lawson or Max Verstappen? I'm not sure. I think Liam Lawson got held up there as well, which is actually ideal for us because that spin means that they come out behind us, which is, yeah, couldn't be more perfect. I didn't want to be stuck behind them, so... All right, something's happening. Safety car deployed. big crash here. I
The
think
focus
Lando
is on
Norris was
Lando
involved.
Norris here.
So yeah, Lando
Tries to
coming
get
up to the
Oh,
the penultimate
that's quite an
corner.
impact
Oh,
between
and
them.
oh
I
my
imagine
goodness.
their confidence will have taken a knock.
Yuki Tsunoda, I think it was, just misses his braking point or locks up completely, and just crashes into the back of Lando Norris. So Lando Norris is off to a horrible start here. But that does mean we have the opportunity to move to a different compound. Now let's go for the soft. Come on, we have to do the hero play, right? We'll do the same with Albon. Right call, one more replay here for Lando Norris. Oh, that rear wing completely busted. What is wrong, Lando? You got clobbered in the back. Check that man for brain damage, please. So Albon coming through for his pit stop. 2.57, not too bad. We'll bring Sainz in as well for a pit stop. Lawson is behind us, but let's see, will he come in? Yes, he will definitely come in. So let's hope we can put in a better pit stop than the Red Bull
Currently P17.
family, because we kind of need Sainz to retain his position. But at least it brings Alexander Albon back into the race, and Sainz gives us a better chance to actually finish well at the end here, because we were running out of tires. 2.381, so fastest pit stop of the weekend. So really nicely done by the crew. Keeps us ahead of Liam Lawson. And now it should be a comfortable ride until the end. Let's catch back up to the safety car and get to the race restart.
Yeah, we can easily overtake.
All right, here we come back to the safety car ending. Fortunately, Alexander Albon was lapped, so he couldn't catch back up to the pack before the restart here. And a big start here for Carlos Sainz is what we need. Gets a good run out of the last corner. All we want to do now is stay in this pack.
We think the tires are in a good window in terms of temperature.
Try to just manage our DRS. We have 13 laps to go, which should be plenty on these soft tires. Should be able to make it.
0.6.
And here we go now.
Can happen.
We have Antonelli in front, then Hamilton, then George Russell. Then it is Leclerc, Verstappen, Piastri. And like we said before, now Piastri is going to take a massive lead in the Drivers' Championship because Norris has this collision with Tsunoda, or Tsunoda with Norris is probably the better sentence to use there. Let's see what we can do. We're using some of our deploy to maybe get past Antonelli in the slipstream. Trying to move to the inside. Will Sainz try something? Yes, sends it up the inside. Very nice.
Don't worry, don't.
There we go, up into P6. Using the deployment actually created a nice little bit of space between him and Antonelli. And now it's just about trying to manage
P6.
our battery as much as we can and try to catch up by the end of this lap
Gap 1.4.
when the DRS zones are there. There we go, within a second now, within a second. So this is going to be ideal. We created distance from Antonelli and Lawson. And now if we can get inside that DRS, then we can follow these guys along. And hopefully here, so Russell might land outside of the DRS zone here. Let's keep an eye on him. And Hamilton now did a massive push to get back up to the leaders, actually. So again, just using our ERS here. Can we get close enough to George for some DRS down the main straight? I think we just about did it, and Russell might be outside of it, so
Time management is
see
good.
here.
Okay.
So yeah, we got DRS. George Russell did not get DRS on Hamilton in front of him. All right, I think we're close enough to Russell here to try a move down the straight. He doesn't have DRS, so what we want to do is deploy down the straight, use the DRS, and try to close up on the cars in front, because else we're in the risk of losing them. So move to the inside, DRS open. We're gonna generate a lot more speed than... oh, he's actually defending George Russell. So moving past on the inside, using more of our deploy. And we're about 1.5 seconds away from Hamilton, but we're gonna use as much deploy as we can.
Hamilton ahead.
Even
Yep,
Russell
we're
now
6.
only barely keeping up. Again, gonna use more deploy. I think we've done it.
Yeah, copy.
There we go. So we'll go to a lighter
Pull the tire more if we can.
tire mode now,
Copy.
or lower aggressiveness to save the tires a little bit. But now we should be solidly in the DRS. And Hamilton even losing the DRS, I think, of Verstappen in front. So here comes Lewis Hamilton. Let's hope he does the overtake here on Sainz. Yes, he does. Again, we're just trying to cool our tires down, get them until the end. And get Lewis Hamilton to drag us along. Again, we just want to keep an eye here on our delta. Just want to make sure we stick inside that DRS if we can, because we might have lost it now, but on the straight we'll gain back some. Russell now also catching up. His tires now doing a bit better.
Oh, good. Yep.
Again, we're just going to use the battery.
Take usage.
Copy.
Try to get back onto Lewis, but we might have to use Russell for that. And that's the thing I didn't want to do. But it does seem that way, because Hamilton is starting to push now. And you can see as well, Verstappen now got past Leclerc and is hunting down Piastri. So it actually might be a Verstappen win this time around. 5 laps to go. Yeah, here comes George Russell now.
How are the tires?
And again, I suppose we might just elect to save the tires a little bit in this case.
Is starting tire management?
We have a better chance of George Russell getting back past us and up to Hamilton than we do ourselves. So, but a top 5 would be amazing in the second race here of the season. All right, coming up to the last lap here now of the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen has actually gotten past Piastri and is now creating quite a comfortable gap for himself. He's got the tire advantage, and it looks like Max Verstappen is going to pick up the first win. Sainz here on the last lap, but the idea is, and Sainz fights around the outside. Very nicely done.
High speed.
And now the idea is going to be to save the battery for this one braking zone here and then just push until the end. And I created a second there until Russell, so Sainz creates a gap of a second, which even with this deployment now, Russell shouldn't be able to catch us on the straightaway, even if he has DRS. Which, if I timed that better, we could have maybe fought for that P4, but I'm not sure. But Verstappen wins the Chinese Grand Prix, but most importantly, Carlos Sainz comes across the line in 5th place. Let's go, Carlos.
Now I imagine Carlos Sainz will be pretty optimistic after that one.
That's a solid points finish, and all in all, a good drive for them today.
Well, Max Verstappen can add yet another podium to his already impressive record.
That gives them their first win of the season, and it was really well deserved.
Now, Karun, no doubt there'll be a lot for the teams to process after that race, but how do you think the Williams team are feeling?
It was a strangely mixed weekend for them. We saw one driver put in a strong performance, but it was a different story for the other. Definitely positives there, though. Next round will see us head east as F1 prepares for the Japanese Grand Prix. We'll see you at Suzuka, a firm favourite for the drivers.
Alright, a bit of a summary here for the race in China. Max Verstappen picks up his first win of the season and shows why he is the world champion. Even in an inferior car, he is pushing the maximum out of that. Also helped, of course, by the collision. Controversially, caused by Yuki Tsunoda in the back of Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri with a nice second place, solidifying his first place in the championship. Lewis Hamilton with a very nice podium. Charles Leclerc right behind him in 4th. Carlos Sainz, of course, the main man, 5th. Very nicely done. 10 points for Carlos. George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli in the Merc, both beaten by Carlos Sainz. Then comes Liam Lawson, 8th. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, 9th and 10th respectively. Then comes Jack Doohan in front of Pierre Gasly once again, as he was in the sprint, I believe. Nico Hülkenberg, again a good performance. He's kind of falling just outside the points, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a point finish from him this season. And obviously in real life, he's already managed the 7th place. So Esteban Ocon in 14th, Gabriel Bortoleto 15th, 16th will be Oliver Behrman, not having a good time. Alexander Albon, even a worse time, but he should have some upgrades, I think, for the next round. Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bull, of course, taking out Lando Norris. No, not Lando Norris. That was Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda here. Taking out Lando Norris, which was obviously very controversial. It is the sister team of Red Bull, so, you know, are they pulling strings behind the scene? Who knows? I'll leave that up to you guys. In the driver's standings, then Oscar Piastri leads with a nice 50-point tally. Max Verstappen now closing up, though, only 10 points behind. Charles Leclerc, meanwhile, moves into 3rd with Lewis Hamilton in 4th. And Carlos Sainz in a nice 5th place, overtaking Lando Norris, who has obviously had that terrible collision. So that has put a bit of a damper on his championship run for the time being. George Russell in 7th, Liam Lawson in 8th in the Drivers' Championship, Antonelli in the top 10, which is, I think, also respectable. Then comes Fernando Alonso, and then Lance Stroll, Jack Doohan, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Yuki Tsunoda, Oliver Behrman, Alexander Albon, and Isaac Hadjar, all not scoring points. Only the top 11 has points for the moment. Then the constructors, McLaren still lead, but only with 2 points now. Ferrari right onto the back of them. Red Bull, pretty much the weight only being pulled by Max. 48 points. Mercedes, 23 points. They've had a bit of a disappointing start to the season, I think. And then Williams, we're actually only 1 point behind Mercedes. And all those points obviously also being scored by Carlos Sainz. Double point finish here. And then Aston Martin with another 4 points. And then the rest of the teams still scoreless. And actually, surprisingly, Racing Bulls last in the standings, which I assumed Kick or Haas would be at this point. But hey, that's why we run these seasons. It is always good to see a couple of surprises out there. And in the fastest lap pit stop, we've obviously gained quite a bit of points. 35 points. We're in the lead now, actually, so that is quite nice to see. Again, had a mistake on Alexander Albon's side of the garage, I guess you could say, but it's the same pit crew. But a nice 2.3 second pit stop there for Sainz. Then we come to the bonuses. Again, Sainz getting that position. Bit of a disappointing weekend for Albon. I definitely thought he could have been around P15, but he's not going to get paid out. Yeah, but Sainz definitely. And he's, I'm wondering, we could take a look at that, but I'm wondering what the bonus is for Sainz when he gets a 3rd place. Well, guys, that has been the race here at China. Sainz finishing inside the top 5. Incredible performance, really putting Williams in the spotlight here. And the question being, of course, can he keep this form up? And can we keep the development up to give him a better and better car throughout the season so he can challenge for the World Championship? Next up will be Japan. Let me know if you've enjoyed watching the race, if you're looking forward to Japan. If you have anything else to add, give it a like if you liked the video. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike, and tell me in the comments why you didn't like the video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.